There are few buildings in O'Fallon with as rich a history as St. Joseph's Chapel. Through the years, this Gothic chapel has been a place for education, for social history, for artistic endeavors, and above all else, for worship. The Sisters of the Most Precious Blood came to the New World in the early 1870s and built their mother house here in O'Fallon in 1874. O'Fallon at that time was just a small farming community, and this Catholic infusion fostered an ongoing interest in the liturgical arts. As the city expanded, so did the Sisters, and they built the St. Joseph Convent Chapel in 1925 to better serve the growing community. Before too long, they'd realized the need for even more space, and the chapel was expanded and remodeled again in 1962. But through the years, the Sisters never lost focus on what was really important, and the chapel provided an important addition to their way of life.
For the community here and over the years, this has been our primary place of worship, and worship is really the center of what we are and do as a community. It's where we come together to do what is most important to us. It's where we have held our most significant events, such as our religious professions, our jubilees, and our funerals. It's where life happens for us.
This chapel rests on the picturesque village of St. Mary's site, just north of the railroad that runs through O'Fallon's oldest district. The imposing brick edifice and Gothic arch windows may look beautiful from the outside, but seeing it from within is inspirational.
Maybe the most outstanding feature is the artwork. In the history of churches, the art was almost like a painted gospel. It told the biblical stories that we remember. And so in the older part of the chapel, we have artwork that was painted by a German immigrant. His name was Gottfried Schiller. I think this is, as far as I know, one of the few remaining places where his art is still visible.
Gottfried Schiller's work includes the painted medallions that tell the story of the Sisters of the Most Precious Blood, as well as the life-size Stations of the Cross, and his art remains an important part of the chapel today. When the chapel was renovated and expanded, there were now more walls to decorate, a task which fell to the director of Ecclesiastical Art Department, Sister Hiltrudis Powers. Inspired by Gottfried's work, Sister Powers added murals to the sides of the chapel and created the intricate tester hanging above the altar. But her most dramatic work has provided illumination to visitors for years.
Sister's masterpiece, I think, are the windows. She not only chose the colors, but also did painting on the glass itself, which gives it the texture and the definition.
Sister Powers was also a talented metalworker, and the massive metal grills separating the old altar from the new is a beautiful example of her work. But as things have changed for the Sisters of the Most Precious Blood, they've never forgotten their roots. Of course, it helps that a piece of their history traveled to the New World with them and has resided in an attached chapel room ever since.
In that altar down at the bottom is a wax image of the martyr Faustus, but the altar itself came, I don't know how, they must have taken it apart, but came from Europe when the Sisters first came over here. And it depicts different images of this, like the scourging of Jesus and different times when his blood was shed. Anyway, it's very decorative, or very ornate.
This chapel was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2007, and it's not hard to understand why. This building is steeped in history and still a strong part of the O'Fallon community. With daily masses and regular services, you're welcome to join the Sisters in worship within these walls. They also provide tours to groups and organizations, and it's worth a trip to the north end of O'Fallon to experience the beauty of this chapel.
Somebody told me once about how she believed that the prayers of all the people that ever had prayed were just kind of in the walls, you know, seeped in, so to speak. And I've often thought about that with this chapel here, that these are living stones that make it, because it's enlivened with all that has gone on here over many years.